Tugi. In 3. Oh, 10.
Okay, yeah, why not?
6, 5,
4, 3, 2, 1. Tetris!
It's quite a dramatic countdown there.
Yeah.
10.
Wow. I mean, isn't it strange that we say Tetris at the end of it?
I mean, a little bit, but it's a.
Because I mean, if the NBA started saying 3, 2, 1 basketball. Would people be happy with that? I
don't know. I mean, there's only one way to find out, right? We just have to infiltrate the NBA and all their operations and just make the executive decision. Why don't we go talk to Adam Silver?
Yeah, why not?
Calls, we'll bother Adam Silver.
Yeah, we'll have a coffee and discuss this revolutionary new idea.
Yeah, instead of just doing a tip-off, we give one team possession, right? Oh man. So we are underway here, Tugi. Of course, it's the round of 32. We've had some pretty high-octane action already here, even through round 0. And now, we got some up-and-comers really trying to make a name for themselves here.
Yeah, absolutely. The World Championships each year getting... The top players are obviously getting better and better. Everyone knows that. Everyone sees the big scores and everything. But what's really fascinating is just how deep this tournament has become over the years. Now, I remember 2 years ago getting, I think it was the 30th or 31st seed with 2 max outs. This year I had 7, and I got the 29th seed.
Right, yeah. It's just a testament to how much more consistent everybody is getting across the board, and kind of like you said, 2 max outs was enough for, mid-seed and go bracket, but now, 2024, the tides have certainly turned, and yeah, I mean, Cole here, of course, the 10th seed had, I think, over 10 max, I think like 11 or something. I forget off the top of my head. But I don't know everything off the top of my head. Right? The personal best of 1.93, that I know off the top of my head. But either way, a lot of max outs and was only enough for seed number 10. Just absurd.
Yeah, absolutely. ID Kirby defeating Heps in the first round. Obviously, Cole, as a top 16 seed, didn't have to go through the gauntlet of round 0 and starts the tournament here. ID Kirby was able to defeat Heps, who had an excellent qualifier. I know that because he was sitting next to me and kept maxing out, and I was thinking, why can't I do that? But, so ID Kirby having a very strong result already and is currently ahead by 20,000 points over Cole. Cole, left side, could really use a J piece, on the bottom game. Cobalt and Tristop, currently Tristop ahead by about 2 Tetrises, although Cobalt is behind in line, so very even start here at the bottom.
Yeah, it's only a pretty even start all around. I mean, look at this, 247. If it was Cobalt and Cole right now, they'd be tied up exactly. So it's a very close game all around. So even if this was a 4-way match, this would absolutely be neck and neck and neck and neck.
Who do you think has the longest neck out of these 4?
Oh man, longest neck. Hold on, I gotta crane my head a little bit myself. So far, from my perspective here, from where I'm sitting, certainly, I would say Kirby's got the longest neck out of all 4 of these 2. But I don't know. That's just me. I'm just kind of getting a mental measurement here of the necks.
I think maybe it's like a optical illusion because he's wearing yellow.
Oh, maybe that's possible.
Everyone else was wearing black. In fact,
maybe it blends in a little bit, with the background.
Actually, Tristop and Cobalt wearing the exact same T-shirt.
Oh yeah, they are wearing oh my goodness, yeah, they are wearing the same shirt. I didn't even notice he's got the jacket on. Yeah, CTWC shirt. I believe it's from 22, was it? Right?
Yes, it was 22. Yeah. I love that.
By good friend Danny, who she does an excellent job with a lot of her designs, and I believe did the design for this year's merch as well. So if you're here at the convention, make sure to check out the booth there. She's selling all that good stuff, and it is, definitely worth the while.
Yeah, if you're at the venue, I'd also recommend getting off your phone and.
Yeah,
right, watching the stream live.
Yeah, maybe just watching.
There's a big projector here. It's a pretty good experience.
Yeah, you don't want to ruin that by just looking at the same thing right through a phone screen, but. But what you're looking at, though, for those who are here, it is 452 here for Cole, 455 for the ID Kirby. Add a touch to Cole, we'll go to 475 and take about a 1 Tetris lead. Meanwhile, on the bottom, 440 to 438 is the score. It is Tristop hanging on to a ever so slight lead. Still, Tugi, really tight all across the board.
Yeah, very good starts here for all the players. Probably all looking at Maybe low 600 to mid 500 transitions at the moment.
Yeah, certainly on pace to do that. What our good friend GD might call X5 pace, something like that. Shout outs to Grand Designs. Of course, we do wish he was here as well. Wish he could have made it to the event. Was unable to do so, you know. So, GD, if you're watching, we love you, man. But again, we are about to transition here on the top. And on the bottom as well, Tristop will transition first at 557 and has opened up a bit of a lead here over Cobalt, though is a few lines behind. Meanwhile, at the top, we have transitioned on both sides, 597 to 584. Some really hot starts here for everybody across the board, Tugs.
Yeah, it's just been very good, clean stacking. Not really any of the players running into some issues. I mean, Tristop now running into a slight drought, but keeping a very good board and not an issue getting the next bar. Cobalt, meanwhile, has transitioned, so Tristop going to be ahead in lines by about a level and a half. So in terms of efficiency, it's still pretty much even between the two players. Obviously, Cobalt needing to actually get the Tetrises that he may or may not have in hand.
Right, yeah, the lead not as large as it appears, but yeah, right, like you said, got to be able to take advantage of the extra time that you have. And we'll get a Tetris there from Cobalt. We'll go to 595, 699 the score for Tristop. Meanwhile, at the top, still some very clean boards all around, some really efficient games. Got about a 72% rate here for Kirby to 724, 78 for Cole, who is at 781. They are just cooking here up at the top.
Yeah, ID Kirby here having a slight issue. Gonna solve it with a J piece. Takes a single with a bar, now just needs an L piece, preferably. L or a bar.
A little bit of a hang there from Tristop over on that left side. Shouldn't be too much of a problem, but certainly gonna slow him down a little bit unless he decides to build on top, which it looks like he will.
Yeah, so it might have been a troubling sequence here for both players. Oh no!
Kirby.
ID Kirby is topped out at 733, and Cole was already ahead by nearly 100,000 points. So actually two pretty strong paces for both players, but Cole going to be able to take game number one. Now at the bottom, Tristop has just been maintaining this bottom well, one row off the bottom well, and then it had a series of misdrops. So now it's going to be slowing down a little bit. Cobalt is, I believe, more than 2 levels behind in score obviously as well, but Tristop here wanting to survive.
Yeah, certainly going to need to get out of this mess quick to try and keep building on this lead. We were looking at almost a 200,000 point lead moments ago, but now Cobalt has been able to cut into that ever so slightly, as Tristop has just been unable to get out of this dig.
Yeah, but he's got, okay, looks like Tristop is probably going to prioritize getting the board clean before the 29 transition. Obviously a very capable player, as we mentioned before, the 5th game crasher, so obviously can do some work here post 29. Currently at 899, can still get 2 more Tetrises before the 29 transition. Cobalt, meanwhile, just now entering level 26 at 787. So if Cobalt is able to keep Tetrising at a decent rate, he's going to be taking the lead here into post 29.
Yeah, and as they are getting towards the end here, let's count down the game at the top. Game number 2 in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. So wow, we're wrapping up here. Game number 1 on the bottom. It is still over 100,000 point lead for Tristop, as Cobalt is approaching level 29 as well, the second transition.
Yeah, this is going to be the big test here for every roller. It's well and good to be able to play well post 19, but on these 29 speeds becomes so much more difficult, and Cobalt is going to enter level 29 at 916,000, just lining out for the moment. Let's see if he decides to start setting up for some Tetrises. Tristop, meanwhile, on level 31, needing to burn this down, is ahead in score by 155,000. Cobalt, though, not getting any Tetrises, but staying clean at the bottom.
Yeah, perhaps Cobalt taking the approach of, kind of waiting to see if Tristop will make a major mistake and then start scaling as we get closer to the level 39. As again, the point value still goes up in spite of the speed not changing until we get there, in spite of the speed not technically being any more difficult. So certainly scaling can be a factor here as Tristop slams a Tetris here on 34. It's at 1.15 million. Another Tetris for Tristop. He is showing no signs of let up here.
Cobalt so far has been playing a clean post 29, but hasn't gotten any Tetrises so far, and probably wants to start building up for them as Tristop gets another Tetris here on level 35, nearly at the 1.3 million mark. Cobalt yet to reach 1 million. Looks like Cobalt might be starting to set up for a Tetris. Tristop, meanwhile, got another one, so now really in his rhythm, gets another Tetris on level 36, gets the bar over, set up for another Tetris.
Oh, some hangs on the right for Cobalt. It's a 994. And no, will not get the bar over to the right. That is going to do it. Game 1 goes to Tristop with 1.4 million. Wow. Just put on a clinic there, Tugi.
Absolutely. Tristop and Cobalt were pretty much even. Tristop was ahead in line, so it was hard to see, but in terms of efficiency, they were basically even, and Tristop was playing a little bit conservative, needed to do some digging start of the post 29.
Yeah.
But then started really hammering down those Tetrises.
Yeah, he just really started sending it, had it, like we said, the early dig here on the level 29 and just absolutely sent it the rest of the way. Once he hit like level 35, it was just bam, there's Tetris after Tetris, and that just left no room for Cobalt to catch up. But meanwhile at the top, we got 220 here for Cole, 202 here for Kirby in the early goings of this 18 portion of game number 2. Again, it is 1-0 for Cole Bucket. It's certainly off to a nice start as Kirby is in. Oh, here we go. Nice 30 triple. Let's go ahead and count down game number 2 at the bottom in 3, 2, 1. Tetris.
Two players at the top, Cole and ID Kirby. Cole is also behind in lines by 5, so it's a decent lead here for Cole. Nice adjustment there to get the J-tuck in. Kirby here also with a clean board, but trailing behind of Cole for the moment.
Yeah, and of course Cole dealing with this messy board at the moment. Is really in need of a bar, but so far not showing up. Finally it does. We'll just go ahead and take the triple. Not gonna go too aggressive here. Does not want to take a risk with the game being so close and go for something dirty.
Yeah, absolutely not. Godsend there for people who are supporting Cole not to go for these types of Tetris. I will tell you, there are people, SV, who you obviously want to root for, my friend
Mike there,
Mike, yeah, and this guy has like one hole at the bottom, so he'd rather go for a dirty 5 rows up column 3 Tetris than taking a single and bringing it down. So it's good to see.
Yeah, certainly some good stacking fundamentals, and honestly, you'd kind of see some aggressive stacking from Cole, in some of his earlier days of playing right back in like late 22 into 2023 last year, before he really started picking up his game, and you kind of saw some aggression from him too. So certainly good to see how much he's adjusted in the last couple years here. Certainly has made a big name for himself. Yeah,
absolutely, Cole. Currently at 482, ID Kirby at 464. Both players approaching level 19 transition. Cole, they're getting a perfect well transfer back over to the right side. Always very satisfying to see. Meanwhile, at the bottom, 2 players, both at 44 lines, and almost the same score. So good starts here for the 2 players at the bottom.
Yeah, certainly off to a good start there. And as you said, we're getting set for the transition at the top. Kirby ahead by a few lines, I think, perhaps as a result of some burning up towards the top of his board that he's had to do earlier on. No push down points here as they are, we're tapping and rolling. Certainly harder to do that, right? Let's just sit down. He'll get that one push down point. But,
yeah, of course.
Transition here for Kirby, 583. Meanwhile, Cole is about to join him here. Is about a Tetris behind. But he's going to get the Vits first. Oh, man, but this is so high up for Cole, Tugi. This is dangerous, but gets the bar for the score. Oh, my word.
All right, Cole able to hold on, got the bar over, leaving a lot of pressure, but finds himself now behind of ID Kirby. Is 4 lines behind in lines, but also behind by 70,000 in the score. So ID Kirby ever so slightly nudging ahead as we are at the beginning of the post-transition campaign.
You know, and again, we kind of talked about earlier, Kirby kind of a under-the-radar sort of player, someone that certainly has put up some really good games, even against some of the rollers, too. He is still tapping. It's kind of something that you're seeing dying out, so to speak, over these last few years. Now that rolling exists, it's like, well, now everyone rather either rolling or just do dash because it's less, it's less straining on you. But Kirby's certainly showing you that it's certainly got some merit here in the main bracket of the world stage here at CTWC.
You don't have to tell me about what it's like that tappers can actually beat rollers. Thanks for that.
Oh, man. Well,
currently, ID Kirby, though, probably wanting a long bar there. Okay, just going to take a couple of burns. Not going to go for any left wells. Currently at 774. Cole at 722,000. Ooh, missed rotation, or may have been some 5D adjustment that I just simply cannot understand. But either way, Cole now clean. Tetris ready. 726 here for Cole. 775 for Kirby. At the bottom, Tristop. So far able to maintain about a 2 Tetris lead here over Cobalt. About 20 lines away from the transition.
Yeah, we saw a slight misdrop of a J piece up at the top there for Cole, and that's going to cause him some burns here. And it's such a close game. All these extra lines burned may end up making all the difference as we start to approach level 29 and even level 39. But we will have to wait and see. It is still about a Tetris and a half difference here. Kirby with the lead, but that board not looking so hot right now.
Okay, some good burns there for Kirby. Tetris ready. Ooh, getting to the limits of his tap capabilities, but able to get the bar over for a Tetris. Is still ahead of Cole. It's about a 20,000 point lead, so less than a Tetris separating the two players. If Cole is able to get more Tetrises here before 29, he's going to be able to secure a lead where it's almost certainly going to be a victory over the tapper. But let's see what's going to happen here.
Yeah, let's see what's in store. It's getting down to the wire. Cole going to take the lead here, real time and in pace because he was behind in lines. This is going to be a battle to the finish here on 29, but meanwhile, at the bottom, we have transitioned to 19. It is Tristop with the lead as Kirby tops out up top at 921. Cole will be good and will take the 2-0 lead.
Meanwhile, at the bottom, Cobalt just got an extremely dirty Tetris, very high up. Might be set up for one now. Gets the bar, another dirty Tetris to reopen as well. Is trying to stay hot in the heels of Tristop. Currently at 642, Cobalt at a 601. Set up for a T-spin. And it's going to be a little bit of prolonged digging here for Cobalt, so chance for Tristop to start building up a strong lead.
Yeah, Tristop really going to want to start building here on this lead to secure a win, but as of now, he's got lots of dependencies here on his board at the moment. Particularly this long bar dependency down the right side going to be a bit problematic.
Cobalt there rejected taking a triple to try and burn it down. Instead, set up the long bar to set up for the Tetris, and thankfully is rewarded with the long bar not too long afterwards. Almost caught up now with Tristop, who's still been digging, but managed to open up this dirty Tetris well. Gets the Tetris there. Tristop at 742, Cobalt at 733.
Yeah, in the meantime, as these guys are duking it out here on 29, we'll get game number 3 counted on up at the top in a 3, a 2, 1, a Tetris. But here we go, Tetris for Tristop here. He will take the lead back here. It is going back and forth now, up, down at the bottom, but a slight misstep of a bar there from Cobalt. Gonna slow him down here. Cobalt
here once again challenging Tristop. until the very end. We're going to see if Tristop is going to be required to put on another show post 29. At the moment, both players running into a drought. Both players with clean boards. Tristop just building one row off the bottom. Finally, the long bar coming. Another long bar coming right after it. And currently, the lead.
Yeah, it is getting tight here at the bottom here. It is coming down to the wire as Tristop is in a bit of a mess up at the top. Gonna have to do some burning. Oh man, but hang on that right side here from Tristop. This is, oh, he's set up. He's set up. Oh, but the bar comes a piece too late. Unable to take the dirty here as we are approaching level 29.
Tristop here, gonna get a Tetris right there. Cobalt getting his final Tetris of level 28, and now into 29, needing to burn this down as a hole at the bottom. Last game, Cobalt doing very well to survive well into post 29, but wasn't really able to score any Tetrises.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Tristop not able to do much scoring on 29 so far either. This left side getting a little dicey, but gets 2 bars that are really nicely timed. Oh my goodness. Oh no, the misdrops from Tristop. Rhyming accidentally out here. But it is an 18,000 point spread. Cobalt will tie this up. We are now 1-1 on the bottom.
Oh no, and ID Kirby went for an extremely dirty Tetris and didn't get the bar in time. Unfortunately tops out at 151,000, and Coal is into the second round.
And he will be playing tomorrow, everybody. Cobucket making the top 16. So we will see him back here tomorrow here at Classic Tetris. So Tugi, let's count him down in
3, 2, 1, Tetris.
Camera crew working hard here. There we go. There's Cobalt.
There you go. Now you can see in very high quality the CTWC 22 shirt twice.
Oh yeah, exactly. You can see him in full display here, right in all their glory.
So both of these games have gone pretty close pre-29, and in the first game, Tristop able to have a very strong showing and really ran away with the game. But in the second game, unfortunately, it was unable to really get going, and Cobalt just about eking out the victory with some lines post 29.
Yeah, no, that last one really came down to the wire. You know, it was the lead for Tristop for a lot of that 19, and then, you know, Cobalt was able to kind of make that comeback. You know, they started going back and forth at the end, and, you know, and again, it really just came down to the 29 that Tristop was just, you know, was unable to get enough lines, was unable to clear enough, stay alive long enough, and Cobalt, he took advantage.
So we're off underway here in game number 3. What does Kingsman say again about game number 3?
Oh yeah, it's the crucial game 3 or pivotal. I don't, one of the two.
I thought he had a rhyme for it.
Oh, you're thinking of Mr. Grand Designs, you know, because game number 3 is breaking free.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry, I mixed up the two very loud commentators in the scene.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're both pretty loud. So,
It's fine. Actually, somebody when I was doing Vienna, someone in the chat kept saying that I sounded like you.
It said you sounded like me?
Yeah, and I'd never heard that before.
That's a first for me, too. Like, I mean, I could do a decent impression, but, like, you know.
No, and I think...
If I, like, only use the deeper parts of my voice range, like, I could certainly do it.
Yeah, and take out all emotion and all hype, then I think you'd do a pretty good impression of me.
Yeah. Oh, man. But we are about 50 lines through this one. It is 258 here for Tristop at a Tetris 281, 259 here for Cobalt.
Tristop, mentioned before, picked up rolling relatively quickly. Generally a very talented player when it comes to NES Tetris. Obviously was the player who got the very first DAS 1.3 million and held the world record for a couple of years. Tristop, I believe, wasn't at CTWC last year.
No, I don't believe so.
Yeah, so he's been a bit busy. You know, he's a very smart, very bright young man, obviously busy with school. But he's had a bit of a comeback arc recently. Obviously, getting the game crash and whatnot, and coming into this tournament in very good form. But right now, nice adjustment there for Tristop, but Cobalt so far matching him each step of the way. 402 here for Tristop and 396 for Cobalt, who's a couple of lines behind.
Yeah, and and Cobalt a very consistent player himself. Certainly every time I've seen this dude at the World Championship, and albeit it's only been a couple times, but he has made the gold bracket every time. Even back when his tapping days during the online era of the World Championship, I believe it was 2021. I don't know, both 2020 and 21 are kind of a blur to me at this point. But one of the two, he was able to make it. And Hugh was dressed up as Perry the Platypus.
Yes,
he had a very good showing even that day. Even outfit and all, he had a very good showing.
And I believe Cobalt hadn't really played any competitive matches at that point.
I don't think so.
We knew that he was a max out player and that he had some good scores. Oh, unfortunate mislip there for Cobalt. But in 21, I believe it was, he came into CTWC qualifying and really shocked everyone by getting 4 max outs, which was an unbelievable tally at the time.
Yeah, certainly. It is crazy how well he's been able to do, again, even in his earliest days, and now here he is still holding strong here in 2024 up against one of the world's best in Tristop, certainly, again, against the game crasher. Certainly a formidable opponent as we are past the 100 line mark here. We are approaching the 19 transition. It is 5:19 here for Cobalt, 6:07 here, Tugi, for Tristop. My God, what a hot pace here.
Yeah, Tristop responding, having a hard time pulling away here in these earlier levels, and now responding currently at 630. Still the potential for a 670 transition to level 19. Cobalt, though, not too far behind, 566 with 3 more Tetrises available. We're looking at double 600k transitions here for the 2 players.
Yeah, and a high 600k here at that for Tristop. Certainly get, around 660s you see in the bottom left there. There we go. Ended up with 657 as Cobalt has 2 more Tetrises on the table here at 589.
Oh, but Cobalt,
these burns not going to be too friendly for him here, Tugi.
Cobalt there. I'm not sure if he wasn't sure what to do with the piece, but had some troubles. Next Lombard to the right is only going to be a triple, but crucial for survival. But as that's happening, Tristop also running into some issues, trying to reopen an Adam well on column 3. Needs an L or J to reopen it. Now set up for the Tetris. There you go, Tetris for Tristop, but it's going to be hard maintaining this as now he's got a Lombard dependency over on column 8. Cobalt, meanwhile, 100,000 points behind in lines as well, but only by 5, but has a right well set up to Tristop's column 3.
Yeah, but Tristop going to slam a Tetris down there, almost looking like Quaid with how confident he was able to get that down, and is now enjoying, of course, over 100,000 point lead real time. But Cobalt, though, again, with the more, as you said, Cobalt with the more ideal board to work with the traditional sloping left to right build, and look at this, now Tristop starting to pay the price here for going for the center well.
It's difficult sometimes. The top players, I mentioned SV before as a player who's unwilling to take any burns and go for the dirty touches to try and reopen wells cleanly, but it was that which led to that burning for Tristop. He went for a bit of a greedy center well to try and have a perfect well transfer back over to the right side, and that's when all the trouble started, and has allowed Cobalt to get back into this game. Is only behind by about 40,000 points, and almost a full level behind in lines as well. Has a completely clean board waiting for the Lombard. There you go, Tetris for Cobalt, 800,000 here into level 24. Tristop now entering level 25 at 817.
Yeah, pretty hot game going on now. We were looking at over 100,000 points, but Cobalt has just brought this all the way back. He is really looking good here. But there's a Tetris for Tristop to go to 848. Look at this, under 10,000 points. The difference now. This is one. Look, I'm like, it might come down to the wire again here.
Yeah, these two players, Tristop, one of the favorites, but Cobalt has just been a complete wall. Just consistent, good pacing here in these games into 29. And right now, just a little bit of burning here for Cobalt. Some unfavorable pieces. Needs an LRJ, uses a long bar. Has a few rows of garbage to clear out before he can reopen this Tetris well. And meanwhile, Tristop is taking a 100,000 point lead, but is a couple of lines ahead, and Tristop now needing to burn and concede some Tetrises here as we're about to enter level 28 for both players.
Yeah, level 28 now for Tristop. He has maxed out the game, 1,023,000. Cobalt here trying to slam another Tetris, trying to match him here. Looking at a double max out into 29. As Tristop is there at 1,067,000. Cobalt with the max here has got one more Tetris on the table here before we hit 29. Again, this is pretty neck and neck here. And here we go, level 29. It is about a 50,000 point spread. Tristop with the lead.
Tristop had some troubles here at the beginning of the post 29, but was able to clear them out. Now looking to try and set up for a Tetris. Cobalt, meanwhile, doing well to stay alive here post 29, and now set up for a Tetris. Cobalt now set up for a Tetris. Unfortunately has some misdrops, but gets the Tetris. Is still behind by about 20,000 points. Tristop slowly bringing his board back down. Cobalt, though, needing some precision to try and move the pieces to the left side. Gets the bar over.
Oh, that's going to be so tough here for Cobalt. Oh, the Z! That Z gonna hang, and he'll be finished at 1,092,000 and at 1.1 million. And Tristop will be good. We'll take the 2-1 lead. 3, 2, 1, Tetris.
Double square start, and they do different things. Wow, how will this affect this game? What do you think?
Yeah,
what kind of an omen is that?
Yeah, I think that's going to be the end-all be-all. I think one of them just made a major mistake there.
Absolutely.
By not putting the squares in the same location. No clone Tris. I think that curses the game. I think.
I think Tristop may have won because he built a lawnmower dependency and immediately got a lawnmower. So I think the God's favoring Tristop here.
Yeah, well, perhaps so. But right now, in spite of the lack of clone Tris going on, we certainly are pretty neck and neck. 0 points between them. It's about as close as you can get.
Yeah, it's been 100% Tetris right here for both players. We'll see if this continues.
Yeah. But no, Tristop.
Oh, Tristop
will be the first to burn. Man, wouldn't that have been something? Kind of a repeat of Fractal's perfect game through almost 100 lines, except with both players. And this early on, can you imagine?
I think the solution is to clone Fractal.
Yeah, right. Maybe that's the only way that ever happens. But, a man can dream.
Yeah, why not? Yeah. Cobalt right now has a lawnmower dependency, and a bit annoying now, needs a J piece as well to burn this down, but gets a bar and a J piece, so exactly what he wished for Christmas, and Santa delivered. We're in June. I don't know why I'm doing that.
Yeah, right. You can't even make the Christmas in July.
I don't know. The AC is so cold. I don't understand why in America the AC is just always blasting. Like honestly, it's like 30 degrees outside, or I don't know what it is in Fahrenheit, but it's really hot outside.
Yeah. Well,
and the AC is blasting.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
like I'm cold. Like what's going on?
I mean, Americans are just sweatier, I guess. I don't know. Especially in a lot of these conventions, Americans are just sweatier. They gotta compensate for that.
Yeah. Oh my God, Cobalt got S-bursted very, very badly, and actually handled it pretty nicely. This is a great outcome for Cobalt, considering how unprepared his stack was for 4 S pieces in a row.
Oh, but I don't know though. That board getting pretty high up. Okay, Bar shows up. And he's going to be A-okay. But yeah, that was a pretty good solve. Again, you saw all those S pieces come in, and to have only that little too wide hole that you see towards the bottom there, certainly if that's all you got, if that's the only mess you have after a bunch of S pieces like that, certainly in pretty good shape.
Yeah, Cobalt here. It's a bit annoying because he got one long bar right there, was a triple, and he's going to have to use another one for a triple. And now might be able to start setting up for some Tetrises 2 rows off the bottom. Has a column 9 set up for some reason, but is going to be able to get it. And he's going to be happy to just concede the double and try and burn this down completely.
Yeah, certainly just a couple burns away from getting this into a favorable position. He is behind by about 2 Tetrises right now. We're about 75 lines through, 281 to 352 the score. It is Tristop with the lead by about 70,000 points. And I mean, seriously though, with Tristop right now, just absolutely killing it right now. 83% Tetris rate through 77. That is a pace to watch here as we start getting closer to that 19 transition.
Yeah, so in this game, Tristop finally able to build up a significant lead over Cobalt. Cobalt had a couple of issues, and he needs this game to try and prolong the set. Tristop here, 2 opportunities to try and move on to the next round, and looking poised to convert his first attempt.
Yeah, Tristop certainly looking to just get the job done. Just, you know, less games to play certainly, you know, means less fatigue, right? Because that's the thing with these live events, you know. While these are, you know, the last matches of the day, you know, for these 2 players, right? You know, we're doing top 16 tomorrow, you know, through all the rest of the tournament. But, you know, even still, you know, you want to try and, if you're going to win it, you want to try and get it done as quick as possible, you know, so that way you are, you know, able to give yourself some time to just rest and not have to, you know, go through, you know, just physically and mentally go through so many games, you know. And a lot of these events, it kind of becomes a bit of a slog from time to time.
Yeah, absolutely. That's been the thing about these real life events. You know, if you're qualifying on Friday, that's 2 hours. Those are exhausting in itself. You're obviously you're on vacation to some degree as well with a bunch of friends.
Yeah,
so you're going to be spending, we're going to be spending time with them as well. And it really does take a toll on you by Sunday. And to me, it's really interesting how the top players can maintain such a high level over an entire weekend.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly, you know, and that's part of the challenge, right? That is part of the challenge, you know. If you're going to be the best, got to be able to get through it here, as we are about 10 lines away from the 19 transition. 584 Tristop, 513 right on the dot here for Cobalt. Again, his tournament life on the line as we are getting down to it here. Nice burn there from Tristop. Nicely done. Is over 600K. There's the Tetris and the transition at 636. 584 the score for Cobalt. He will join him, and off we run on the 19 speed.
Yeah, so honestly, a pretty solid transition here for Cobalt, considering the troubles he had earlier on his 18 campaign. Right now, both players clean, just waiting for a bar. Cobalt once again getting S-bursted at an inopportune time, has to build a hole at the bottom, and is going to deal with it immediately. Now it's going to concede a little bit more runway here to Tristop, but Cobalt burning it down and almost set up for a Tetris now. Just needs an L piece or a long bar for the left side. Getting neither though. Finally gets the L piece. Left side a little bit problematic, but getting some good pieces over. And finally the Tetris there for Cobalt. 672 for Cobalt. Tristop needing to do a bit of burning at 745.
Yeah, Tristop seriously just putting on a clinic here that we have seen all series long. But Cobalt still hanging in there too. He's at 703. It's about 100,000 point spread real time, but a couple lines separating our players. Certainly, score might be slightly closer than it appears as far as pace is concerned.
I'm not sure what just happened there with Tristop with that long bar. It looks like he just completely dropped it somewhere, but immediately finds a great solution, and now waiting for the next one to try and score this Tetris. You know, Cobalt had to do some digging himself. Maybe not a bad time to have a drought while he's digging. Set up now, gets the Tetris. 745 here for Cobalt, 844 for Tristop. So Tristop able to maintain this 100,000 point lead, but Cobalt looking good to at least try and match Tristop's pace as we enter the second half of the post-transition.
Oh man, just saw that missed line spin there from Cobalt. He was really trying to keep it efficient, try and be a little cheeky with it there, but fortunately not going to get it. Now is going to cause some more burns. That's going to That's going to make his job a little bit harder here as we start to approach level 29. And we are over 100,000 point spread here between our players. Cobalt really going to have to either turn it up here or just start prepping for 29.
Cobalt here on pace once again for a decent max out into 29, but it's going to require some post-29 heroics here for Cobalt, especially if Tristop is able to get a good campaign going here himself. Tristop already well over the million points, 1,063,000 here for Tristop, having a couple of issues, so might be a small opening here for Cobalt to try and shorten this lead. Currently at 942 with a couple more Tetrises available, 5 if he's able to go perfect, but running into some issues himself, so going to be spending some time burning here.
Yeah, there we go. Some really good burns there for Tristop. There's the Tetris to go to 1.1 million. Meanwhile, Cobalt still looking for his max out here. His screen look, and he's seeing like, oh man, I got a pretty massive lead to overcome. 154,000 point lead for Tristop as we are fast approaching level 29. Both players are clean here too, so certainly they're going to be matching each other Tetris for Tetris as Tristop hits 29 here at 1,190,000 points. And Cobalt will join at 1,036.
Yeah, Tristop here needing a J piece over to the left side, trying to set up for a Tetris. Cobalt knows that he's going to need to get some Tetrising done, is set up for a Tetris, waiting for the bar. It's going to be a triple there for Cobalt. Tristop, meanwhile, now running into some issues, but gets a crucial L piece. Oh, gets the J piece over, gets the Tetris. 1,245,000 points here for Tristop. Cobalt needing to do a bit of burning to try and get Tetris ready. He needs it. He's behind by 255,000. Tristop just piling on the misery here. Almost set up for another Tetris, waiting for the bar. Gets the bar for the Tetris. Almost a 300,000 point lead here for Tristop, but Cobalt getting clean.
Yeah, Cobalt really got an uphill battle here if he wants to try and chase this down. Over 300,000 points difference because Tristop is just slamming it home. Looking to slam that door shut on Cobalt here. But Cobalt gonna top out himself here, level 32, 1,092,000 points, not enough. As Tristop will get it done, 3-1.
So Tristop having a very strong showing here in his match on Saturday. Gonna be a problem for whoever's facing him tomorrow.
He's going faster.
He's gonna
we'll let him play this out. We'll let him.
Yeah, we'll find out later.
Yeah.
But yeah, a word there for Cobalt. Really had.
There you go. Another massive win here. 1.5 million for Tristop, and he has punched his ticket to the top 16, and we will see him back here tomorrow.
Hello everyone, I'm your underwater host Sharky, and I want to say thank you for watching. We're going to dive right into today's lore drop because the cast joining us is quite interesting, and I got a lot to say about it, and some really secret lore that unless you were at CTWC 2022, you would have never heard about it. So the next 2 matches will be Dan B versus Sodium and Alex T versus Aaron. Diving into the first match, Dan B versus Sodium is probably the closest out of the 2. Now, we talked about Dan B a little bit in round 0, so let's preface this by talking about Sodium, a player which has quite a bit of history. Sodium made his debut in CTWC 2020 as part of the generation of players that joined post the CTWC 2018, which was when Joseph defeated the 7-time world champ Jonas Neubauer. In that tournament, Sodium would make a loud statement, placing top 16 with a final placement of 13th. Sodium would come back again in 2021 and have another stellar run, placing top 16 again, but unfortunately was bracket resetted and defeated by Huff, ending up with a final placement of 12th. 2022, Sodium would make his IRL debut, but unfortunately we get upsetted in round 0 by a DAS player by the name of Puppyball, as Puppyball would end up sweeping, placing Sodium at 48th. However, 2023 would be a different story, as Sodium would bounce back quite strongly, I might add, making it out of round 0 and placing 19th after being knocked out by Aaron. Now, based on prior CTWC performance alone, both Dan B and Sodium ended up being knocked out in round 1. with Dan B placing 17th that year, so for them to cross paths here means that one of them will yet again not make it into the top 16. Sodium in online tournaments is known to transition with rather high scores on 18, so it's really going to come down to whether Dan B can match Sodium's efficiency on 18 or outscore him on the post-transition and the post-kill-screen sections of the game. And now for our next match, Alex T versus Aaron. Now once again, we have a tapper versus a roller, which means that the tapper will be at the disadvantage, but this isn't the first time these two have met up. So let's talk about Alex T's CTWC history. Alex T would make his debut in 2021, where he'd end up placing 25th, and to be honest, the cards were stacked up against him, as in that bracket, he had Joseph Saley, and in particular, JD was still at the top level of his game at that point in time. However, he would make his IRL debut, Alex T that is, in 2022. Now, at the start of the lore drop, I mentioned there being some secret lore. Well, before his top 16 match with Sidnev, Alex T was having a really strong tournament. Day 2 of competition comes, and while I was personally getting top 16 players early in the morning ready, Alex T forgot his controller at the hotel. Not only that, he was actually visibly nervous in his match, and he would end up losing the match in a sweep and place 16th after some uncharacteristic earlier top outs. 2023 comes around and Alex T once again gets knocked out by Sidnev, but this time in top 8, placing 6th. Now, I know there was a lot of focus on Alex T there, but Aaron also has a bit of a story of his run in 2023. Aaron was a tapper that year and had to play in round 0 up against Heps, a Daz player turned roller. Aaron would end up beating him in a decider to advance to round 1, where he would then play Sodium. Now, for most tappers, this would be a death sentence, your tournament is over. But not Aaron. In a decider, Aaron would once again upset another tapper, making it to top 16, being the only tapper to do so that year. His amazing run was stopped by the same player he's facing right now, Alex T. Last year, Alex T swept Aaron. As one of the favorites going into this tournament, can Aaron make this year's result any different? Well, you'll have to watch tomorrow to find out. Anyways, that's all for today. I know it was a long one, but you guys got some secret lore that you normally don't get. So if you made it this far, be sure to let me know in the comments by including lore drop in your comments somewhere. And I saw a few recently have been saying that, so it makes me happy that people are enjoying these things. It does take some extra time to put these things together, but I personally feel that it's worth it and it helps tell the stories and narratives of these players. So if you enjoyed this match, leave a like. Comment down your favorite moment below. Me personally, it was game 2 between Cobalt and Tristop. The battle on level 30 and the fact that it was super close in of itself was a spectacle to watch. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel to support CTWC. And if you really want to support us, become a channel member today. I'm your underwater host Sharky, and I'll be seeing you tomorrow for the next match of CTWC 2024.